Hi all, welcome back to the session on managerial skills. Let's understand what are the skills that the manager has to possess in this particular video. Skill of an individual skill is an individual ability to translate the knowledge into action. Manager is supposed to possess several type of skills. In order to discharge the roles of a manager should possess three major skills. They are conceptual skills, human relation skills, and technical skills. Why these skills are very important is that conceptual skills always deals with the ideas, the views, future thinking, his ability to think it as in abstract, to analyze the ideas, to assess the environment, and to see whether the time is fruitful or not to implement the idea and the changes that is taking place inside and outside. And the technical skills, it is the manager's understanding of the nature of the job, that people under him have to work properly and to perform properly. It refers to the person's proficiency and knowledge. Any type of the process or technique have to be analyzed with respect to the knowledge and the proficiency the person has got, and that is the perspective that the manager should have. In production department, the functional functions that is related to the competence gains are more important, whereas in the marketing department the functional areas becomes more important than technical or the conceptual and compared to the process. And conceptual component of the process or the technical component of the process is going to be less important in the marketing department, whereas the other area which is going to be very important for the marketing department is the competitive gains that is the manager is going to get or manager is going to forecast. Human relation skill is another skill which is a very important skill which is going to yield the maximum profit. It is the ability to interact effectively with all levels of people. It is to coordinate and to establish the proper communication among all the people. The skill the skill development of the manager or the skill that is developed by the manager in recognizing the emotional factors of the employee is going to create a different impact in terms of product output. This type of skill remains consistently important for managers of all the levels. If we divide the top management, middle management, and then the supervisory levels with respect to the skill sets, top management is expected to possess maximum of conceptual skills. Middle management is expected to possess major of human relation skills. Supervisory or the supervision level is supposed to possess the maximum of technical skills. So for the top management, human relation skills comes the secondary, and for the supervision level, the conceptual skills becomes the secondary. And skill development, skills mix at different levels of management is going to be very important, and the focus of the different level of management should be according to the managerial levels. Development of the management thought was, we can see the history of the management thought. Management exists in one or the other form in every corner of the world, as we have seen, and every activity in the world. Management is said to be operative whenever the people work in masses, that is in groups or in the teams. A leader make the masses into the groups according to their abilities and then the coordinated abilities. A team is a more appropriate word than the group, because the group can be of like-minded people. Team can be of like-minded but from the different variety of people. So this traces back to the human civilization itself from the 17th to 18th century and the Industrial Revolution. If we see all this over the centuries like 20th century and then the evolution that has happened through the Industrial Revolution, in the 20th century there are the three broad stages have been evolved, and they are made on the base of management which are practiced even now. So they are the stages that are practiced now are management in antiquity. Management is in antiquity that was established in the pre-Christian and then the post-Christian era, and second one is the early management approaches between 1750 to 1950, and the modern management approach that is 1950 onwards. These are the different stages that have evolved in the So the Better Working Standards was known for their search for one best way to do work. So the Gilbert conducted motion study with the help of the motion pictures. He has identified the motions of work and classified them to 18 different types, and they are called as the bricks. And he started his career in the brick industry, and he moved on as a bricklayer at the age of 17, and then became the management thinker. And he passed on through the various positions, and then extremely he succeeded in reducing the number of motions required to lay the brick from 18 to 6. So he could save and he has saved his work, and then he established his own construction company. So the contribution of the Gilbert are summarized, and then he compared it the entire management to the development of the motion study, with the main idea is to minimize the waste moments, and he developed the SIMO charts, which are called as simulation motion. So he introduced the process chart in 1921. He identified the thoroughbricks, the fundamental motions that are involved in doing an activity, and he developed the micro motion study that is called MIMO, and then SIMO charts. He carried out the works on the studies on the fatigue, that the elimination fatigues created by conducting the repetitive works that are reduced by spacing the work, and he introduced the rest periods in between the works. So the objectives of the scientific management can be briefed up as to assess the industrial and then the market readiness, and then regularize the continuous motion, and to give the better opportunity to the individual and then the scientific methods of working, to ensure happy and then the social life to the workers, and to promote the justice among the workers by treating them equal, so gender equality, and to perform the planned and then the balanced operations within the work lines, and to meet the productivity. So the contributions in terms of contributions and then the limitations of the scientific management is the scientific selection of the workers made the management to realize the importance of the training that needs to do a job particularly effectively, and the scientific management suggested one best way of doing job by designing the work. So the design became very important. The scientific management developed the rational approach towards the work and to solve the problems of the organizations. Scientific management developed the profit and then the professionalism of the management. However, scientific management has got several criticism, and then the following grounds are the criticism base for the criticism. Taylor's concept of monetary benefits are not very strong enough to motivate the workers, and then Taylor's time and motion study is not accepted everywhere, and there are several other criticisms that were carried on. So the component of motions are concerned, no two individuals can be expected to work the same way even though the work is the same, and there cannot be same rhythm as well, and there cannot be same attention that is paid under the same learning speed also. So the separation of the planning and then the doing functions are coupled with the greater specialization, and it led to the greater economy, and then it led to the administrative management. So let's understand the administrative management in the perspective of Henry Fayol, who proposed it, and then he considered to be the father of administrative management, as we already discussed. And he wrote a book called General and then the General and Industrial Administration, on which he explained the entire process of administration. His thinking was beyond a worker and then the shop level production, but with the inner perspective and then the wider perspective, covering the common administrative and then the management functions and then the process of managers. He suggested that activity of any business organization could be divided into 6 groups, like functional, technical, accounting, commercial, and managerial and security. His main focus was on managerial and administrative activity. So Fayol also suggested 14 principles of management and guidelines to the process of management perspective. Principles of management are explained with respect to the category, and it is principles of management are division of work, authority and responsibility, discipline, unity of command, unity of direction, subordination of individual interest to the general interest, union and unity is biggest strength, that is union is the strength, initiative, equality, scalar and equipments would work in a more predictive way. So scientific management should be in place. Taylor's concept of scientific management were well accepted all across, and then it is practiced by almost all the industries. Gantt and Gilbert modified the Taylor's theories and then improved the concepts further. And then the contribution by the Gantt is that we have seen the well established Gantt charts which are in place with respect to the project management and which are very, very helpful. And he felt that the Taylor's incentives scheme is not all the motivating factor, because money is not only the motivating factor to the workers. He modified it and then he proposed a new idea in Taylor's incentive scheme. If the worker completes his day's target, he gets some incentive. Also, the foreman gets some other incentive. If all the workers working under him completes their day's target, the foreman is going to get some incentive. This would motivate the foreman also. It is not only limited to the workers, so it is also extended to the foreman. And the foreman trains all the workers and make sure that the workers are going to complete the work with a better quality. So, contribution of F.V. Gilbert. Management in antiquity shows that different parts of the world we can understand the management practices over the years. If we see in Egypt, pyramid construction was 3,000 years ago. In China, the Great Wall of China was constructed 3,400 kilometers long, and in India, Ramayana and Mahabharata, Aryabhata and Arthashastra, and Greece, management theory says that Greek philosopher Socrates defined the management as a special skill, and in Rome, Roman Catholic Church with a well-defined structure and hierarchy followed the management. So early management approaches were in the 17th to 20th century, and the development of the management during this period can be seen as a process. So the process of early management approaches are psychological process, scientific management, administrative management. Psychological development in antiquity, people were dependent on only the inborn abilities. People were not aware of management theory. People had the belief that managers are born, not made, and the universal belief was painted out as by artists, directors, and then the doctors. That is that. So scientific management came into existence between 18th to 19th century. If we see the science management, we can see the two different forces that are acting on it. One is standardizing the practices to simplify the work, and the effort of the scientists to demonstrate the results of the experiments. So if we see this, the two various forces that have derived that scientific management between 18th to 19th century witnesses both of this. And when we see the scientific management during the development, management was adopted in the various with respect to the various scientific approaches. The scientific management introduces a rational thinking and then the systematic approach to the management of the work. So the scientific management can also be understood as a management as a science, and not a, and science is only science is not a, it has a base. That means to say that management that is evolved out of the scientific approach has got a base. Because of the base, there are results that have emerged out of it. So the harmony is it cannot be discarded. And there is a cooperation, and it is not the individualism which is going to prove, and that is optimized output can be witnessed because of the scientific management, and it is not at all restricted in any of the ways. And there can be the expectation of specialization in a particular process, particular product with respect to by the application of scientific management, and it's not the generalization of the product. So many pioneers have contributed to the scientific management, like Frederick F.W. Taylor, and he considered the scientific management. He proved that with his experiments that the contributions through the work study, differential management, recognition of the supervision, as well as the scientific requirement and then the training. And with this, all this approach, the shop management got developed, and then F.W. Taylor also explained the contributions with respect to the F.W. Taylor with respect to the scientific management can be explained like this: with respect to the work study, with respect to the differential payment, and with respect to the reorganization of supervision. In terms of reorganization of supervision, in his tenure, Taylor observed that worker has has to plan his job well in advance, and then he has to work. The supervisor's work was only to allocate the work, but Taylor advocated that all the planning issue of requirement tools, required tools, sequence of the work has to be planned by the supervisor, not by the worker, and workers should carry out the work only, so that there will be efficiency in terms of understanding and execution of the work by the worker. There will not be any wastage of the time, because the supervisors gives the required tools, gives the required design, and gives the necessary instructions to carry out the work on the machineries. So there should be a dedicated foreman in every department, so that the work will be planned and the tools will be issued to the worker with respect to the work. Scientific requirement and then the training was well in place, and he proposed, Taylor suggested that there is a need for training and development that is to be carried out with respect to the scientific management, and it has to be carried out with respect to the specific job in a more productive way. So keeping in line with this, there should be a careful selection of employees and then the staff. So the 10th one is the scalar chain, order, stability of tenure of personnel, remuneration, and the 14th one is the centralization. So in this 14 principles, all the principles were referred to be the most apt for the principles of management, and this can be explained in detail in the coming video. Thank you.